You, yes, you. I am talking to you. If you haven't already done it, I need you right now to look down and see that subscribe. If that subscribe button is white, that means you need to touch it. That is one easy way that you can support this channel. It's free to just subscribe. And if you really enjoy what you hear, it's a button on the side. It looks like a bell. Touch that too. Those are two simple ways that you can support this channel.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are about to have an encounter with Marcus Stewart. Enjoy.
All right, man, we on. We on. We on. Welcome to the Encounter Podcast. I'm the host, Marcus Stewart. You can follow me and find me on all social media platforms at underscore Minister Marcus. This is just conversations between a man and his boy. All right, introduce yourself, man.
DJ Stewart, man.
DJ Stewart.
DJ Stewart, son of Marcus Stewart, second of his name.
Oh yeah, yeah. Nicely put. Nicely put. Nicely put. And most people, I went to the gym and told the guy that he was my son, and he was like, "Man, how old are you?" Like, man,
Yeah,
I'm 39. How old is your son? I said, man, he's 22. He was like, "Wait a minute, this is insane. You should have
yeah,
ain't your little brother."
yeah.
Nah,
Y'all are
man.
young. Y'all are young. I like that though. I think that's cool.
You think it's cool? Why?
Yeah,
Why though? Why?
because man, like I'm grown now, so like I can do grown stuff with my parents.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm
okay,
saying?
yeah. Now
I
you
can
know
do
what? Yeah,
grown
I feel
stuff with my parents. It's not like I'm grown and and y'all are old.
you.
Y'all can't do nothing. Y'all can't have fun.
Yeah, you know what? I can feel you on
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think about that a lot. Like, I know y'all had it hard when y'all was kids, like
that.
when
Man,
y'all was young, but I'm glad that it happened like that, so
yeah.
that we could be 22 and 39, man.
Yeah, I like, man, look, I feel you on that.
Yeah,
I feel you on that. Ain't nothing like that. Ain't nothing like where I am now, like seeing how you grew up and see like that's like you can't take I can't take credit for that. Your mom can't take credit for that. Only thing we can do is just we can take credit for the things that we did do and try to teach you. But ultimately, man, you don't know how your kid's gonna turn out. See you turn out like that. I know it's just that was just nobody but my job. My
yeah.
job had to just like,
You can take credit for a lot of it.
well, I
You can
take
take credit for a lot
I
of it.
made some sacrifices. I
You can
made some
take credit for
sacrifices.
a lot of it, man.
I
Ain't no,
appreciate that. That's a
ain't no
compliment.
secret, man. We didn't have the conversation before. Like,
That's a compliment, bro.
yeah,
That's a real thing, man. That's a
yeah,
real compliment. So
yeah.
look, okay, rolling into that that whole topic. I had a question on my thing that I wanted to ask, but um what do you see? What is something that you see that is lacking in father son relationships right now?
Hmm.
What is something in your experiences, like with the people that you meet and come in contact with, what is something that is lacking that you see that's lacking in father son relationships, in your opinion?
That's a real specific question. I feel like most of us, black people especially, it's just the relationship itself. A lot of people don't know their dad. A lot of people ain't close to their dad.
Like, what, seriously? Like, is
Yeah,
that a real thing?
yeah, yeah.
I thought it was just,
I've met more black people who didn't know their dad than black people who know their dad.
is that a real thing?
Yeah,
I'm out here thinking that that's something that the females just say just to try to, throw it off
nah,
on dudes.
nah. Like like almost every one of my cousins is like that. Like all
Wow.
my friends, they be like, "Yeah, I don't know my dad," or like a lot of people be like, "Yeah, I know my dad, but we ain't really cool like that." So
Oh, like they ain't have no relationship.
yeah, so like for a lot of people, it's uh, the relationship itself. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are not close with their father, especially black people. A lot of
Dang.
black people are either not involved with their father or don't know them at all. That's
All
a
right,
real thing.
all right. So, like, does a father figure, like having a person who is maybe is not your father, but like the figure of a father, does that make an impact? Does that kind of fill that void, or is nothing like having like your actual
I don't think it
like?
fills the void. It don't fill the void, but it definitely helps. Like it helps. It helps. Like a person can definitely end up better off with a father figure there, but it wouldn't be the same thing as
Yeah,
actually having your father.
right. Yeah, I can see that. Now, you know what? I can see that, like, um knowing, like, knowing myself while I'm raising you, I know things that you are naturally prone to. Now, I don't know how you're gonna turn out,
Mm,
right? But I know things that you're naturally prone to, and just like with your brothers too, and your sisters, because I know me and I knew how I was when I was young, and I knew all the things that was going on in me, and then the thoughts that was coming. I have some kind of idea as to, okay, I don't know exactly what he thinking, but I can kind of, you get what I'm saying?
yeah.
So yeah, it matters to that extent, where at least I know what I would have said to myself, or at least something like that. But if the child is not yours, man, that's difficult. Like
Yeah.
you don't know what you only trying to steer the mind at that point, but you don't really just know innately, like as I would with my kids. Does that make sense? Was I just
Yeah.
like
No, it made sense. It made
okay.
sense. Yeah, I
Okay.
feel like it's like it's not completely black and white. Like somebody can have a father figure
Yeah.
and they can definitely make a difference. For example, a stepdad is very like very strong in
Mhm.
that. A stepdad can really make a really big difference.
Uh-huh.
However,
Okay.
somebody with no stepdad and they father figure is they uncle or they big cousin, you know what I'm saying? Like the father figure is there and things are in place, but it's not the same as having like an actual,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
actual figure.
Okay. Yeah. That man. That's what's up. You know what? Well, I don't want to go too far too fast, but I'm really glad that you know being a young father, like I was real young, but you don't recognize. I think for men, from a male's perspective, I think you don't recognize that your kids grow up to be people, you know,
Yeah.
and you see them as responsibilities when they're young, and it demands a sacrifice. And this is just speaking to a reason as to why some of the men are not there, especially if you're not with the mom.
Hmm.
That in and of itself is a challenge, man, because it's just all demand on you. It's like at least 20 years of a demand with no return. And the thing about it is I'm glad I did made the sacrifice, because once it starts to turn around, that's when you see that your kids are actually your blessing. But
Hmm.
initially, it don't look like that from a male's perspective. You get what I'm saying?
I get it.
Especially if you choose the wrong woman. So
Yeah.
if you just had a one night stand and you got a kid
Yeah.
with a girl,
It's
if
a lot more of a liability.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, yeah. On the front end. And so my thing is I be trying to tell dads, like, bro, that sacrifice matter. You
Yeah.
it's all demanding right now, but it's gonna pay off on the end if you put that time in. You know what I'm saying? So like, bro, that's kind of eye opening, man. I thought that the women just said that just to try to.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh. In my experience, at least, that's how it is. It's like when I meet somebody who had both their parents in their household, it's like a rarity. It's a
Wow,
rarity,
girls
man.
too.
Yeah.
Wait, girls too.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, man. Goodness
Yeah.
gracious. That's I don't know how to
That's
feel
the
about
truth.
that, bro.
Yeah, I feel the same way. You know what else I think about? I also think about how so many black people in America grew up in such similar ways. And a lot of these ways are like, you know what I'm saying, broke, struggling, single mama. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yes,
that's the that's the case for a lot of black people.
that
And I
is
and it's one thing because we can all relate to each other in some way.
right.
But it's another thing because, you know what I'm saying, there's something wrong here. There's something wrong there, man. Like
Man,
if
look,
everybody go through the same stuff, the same kind of stuff, like
the system is broken kind of thing.
it's like somebody's doing something wrong. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like it's one thing to have our culture, which you know what I'm saying is cool. You know, we have certain things that only black people know about,
Right.
but there's also stuff that's like how many of us don't know our dads type stuff? How
Yeah.
many of us stayed with our mamas our entire life? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How many of us actually had our dad and our mama living together? Like
Yeah.
the numbers are crazy.
Astronomical. Yeah.
Yeah, like when you compare them.
And then see, you said something else too, like not just that you don't know your dad, but that you don't have that type of relationship with your dad. Or
Yeah,
even if you did, he didn't know to do certain things in your life. So it's like even if he's there, there are so many other margins that
yeah,
that may be missed, and it's not to fault the ones that came. I mean, if Pop was in your life and he did the best he could, you got to give him much respect to that. But see, like for my dad was in my life, but but I'ma just leave it like that. He was in my life, but but there were so many margins that were missed, and I can't say that they were intentional or unintentional. I can't say that because he knew or he didn't know. I can't say that he wanted to make the sacrifice or he didn't. I'm not gonna speak no left or right on that, but it's just for the people who do know their dads, yeah, that's that.
yeah,
Yeah, man. Like that's what me and I don't want to say her name, but me and Leah, we have like a she know me, right? But we not as close as like with the rest of y'all. And it's just like it's kind of falling into the same thing that we talking about right
yeah,
now. And it would seem like that I'm not that type of parent, father, but actually I am. But the circumstances. So then imagine that. So imagine you have whether the people that don't know their dads, then the people that do know their dads, and they don't know, or you get that's the second one. Then you have the situation like what I had. So then you got the baby mom, and then you got the baby daddy, and then the baby is in the middle, and then the baby just ends up getting,
yeah,
lost somewhere in the
yeah.
what do you think about that?
I mean, it's a lot that goes into stuff like that, man. It's a lot that goes into stuff like that. One, most notably, like people and how people think, how
Yeah.
people perceive, and how people accept things. You know, I noticed that. I noticed in my experience that two people, two people could experience the same thing, but take it two different ways. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yes, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. I get what
when
you're
it
saying.
when it when it comes to like kids and stuff like that, man, it's a lot more complicated because they are feeling stuff and thinking stuff that they probably don't even have a grasp of yet,
Yeah.
and that can that can grow and formulate into something a lot darker later on in
Yeah.
the years.
Yeah, I like the way you put that. Darker, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
it come out in ugly ways, man.
That's very true. That's very true.
But yeah, that's uh that's another thing, man. It's another thing. People, people, bro.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the situations would be better if people were trained better. Like a lot of the fathers, like you said, it's a demand on a young father.
Yeah.
But a lot of the reasons why people leave is because they don't have that strength. They don't have
Yeah.
that conditioning
Yeah.
to deal with hard times and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the things. It's just the issue of people. Some people just not strong enough to deal with that.
And some people are well, I'm sorry, go what you finna say?
Some people not strong enough to deal with stuff like that, and then somebody else from the outside looking in is gonna paint the picture of something,
You're right.
and then tell it to somebody else, and then somebody else has a completely different view of
Yeah.
what's going on when
Yeah,
they don't really
bro.
know like the whole.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
people. That's people, man.
Bro.
That's what people is.
Bro, that's real. That's real though. That's
Yeah,
real. That's real.
people, people, man. You got to know who you're dealing with. You got to know who you're dealing with.
I
But
agree
yeah,
with that.
I can really go deep on that, like perceptions and like like other people's psychology, man. It makes a difference in how a lot of things unfold, bro.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like their parents because of an image that their mama or their daddy painted on.
Paint it.
You
Right,
know what I'm
right,
saying?
right. Paint it on your brain. Paint it
Right,
on their brain. Yeah.
right. And then they paint that picture because they not really fully aware themselves. You
You're
know what I'm
right.
saying? So they already on a false notion, but they feed it into the kids, and then the kids might grow up and like resent the father or the mother for some stuff like for some stuff that they mama didn't even understand at the time that she
bruh,
was putting it into 'em. You know,
bruh,
it's a lot of complicated stuff with
bruh.
that. But
Even
pe-
even with that dog,
yeah,
like on that same vein, sometimes people never evolve, and
yeah,
then they will only see you the way that they saw you. And so imagine that being imprinted onto a child. So the let's say the father or the mother has grown so far beyond what the other parent has seen, but that has been fed to the kid, and
hmm,
so the kid can never see beyond that lens,
yeah.
unless it's an act of God. That's one of the reasons why one of the reasons why we pray. But yeah, you are so right. That
It's
is
a lot of man. It's a lot.
man,
It's a rabbit hole for real, for real. It's
man,
really a rabbit hole.
man.
But that's one of the things that I learned, man, in my time while I was gone. People, man, and how people think, and how people take things in.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
noticed that, like, yeah, 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 yeah,
Hey, that's what's up though. That's what's up.
definitely.
I think you having that experience, man, that's just you learn something new about people. And
Yeah,
ultimately, you know what? With all of my studying of the Bible and stuff, man, I realized that it's really just about people. It's
mm,
really just about people. And like for me, parenting has become that. Like I'm antisocial. I'm closed in my own box. I can come home and be at home and work from home and do everything that I have to do. I can go to work and come home and I can be confined. But God gave me people, y'all,
mm,
my little people, and through y'all, I was able. It opened me up so much to where, like, man, it. I mean, God and my kids really changed me as a man. But that's really what it's all about. Studying the Bible just it's really about people, like people, the connections that you make, like the things that you learn, just dealing with people. That's pretty deep, man. That's
yeah.
pretty deep. It's crazy you can see that at 22, man.
It's not that crazy.
You think you have a lot of ego, arrogance?
No, nah.
You,
I think I used to be arrogant. I used to be real arrogant.
what changed that?
Man, me being around people who were better than me in ways, you know what I'm saying? Like
Oh, that's deep.
I came up with a saying. I'm pretty sure somebody has said this before somewhere, but uh it goes like in a room full of average people, I'm great.
You're right.
In a room full of in a room full of good people, I'm good. In a room full of great people, I'm average. So like,
I get that.
yeah, you know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying? So like I feel like I was surrounded by people who were on a certain level with things, and
yeah.
I felt like I was the top amongst them. I feel like I was smart
Right. But you
until I
was in a room
actually got
full of
around smart people. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And I
yeah,
realized how not smart I actually was.
yeah, yeah.
That's
You.
what changed it.
That's why I encourage people to read. If you're watching this podcast, you need to go and find a book to read
Read, man.
because reading made me realize how much I did not know. And it just made me want to go and get more books to read. Bruh, everything that I learned, mostly everything that I learned about thinking, about psychology, about the body, about diet, about exercise, business, um, man, through books, just reading. Like you recognize how much you don't know. And when I was when I was going to school, I'm really smart. I'm a quick study, so I can look at it and learn it real quick, understand it to make an A. But and I thought I was doing good. I don't have to study this. I can make a B and it'll be okay. Then when you start reading it, you realize, dang, bro, like it's these terminologies I don't understand. Like they talking the language that, and it's a group of people that know it and are good at it, and I'm just like, this is my first time hearing about it. Where
Yeah,
have I been? So
yeah.
that's good, bro. That's really humble of
I used to be I used to think I was up here, boy.
you. Yeah,
I used to think I was up here. And I probably was a little advanced, you know what I'm saying, for my age, but
yeah.
I wouldn't even say advanced, but just on the right track as far as like my ways of thinking. But I felt like I was much like significantly wiser than kids my age. I felt like I was significantly more disciplined than kids my age. And yeah. I had to grow to find out that stuff wasn't true.
How many young people have that thought and that ego and that arrogance when they're young, but they haven't been humbled?
I think that everybody in the world got that level of arrogance, man.
Oh, okay.
When everybody meets somebody, read this in the book. Every time you meet somebody, you see yourself in some way superior to them,
Oh,
whether you realize it or not. Every person that you meet, you make yourself superior to them in some way.
wow.
Like you gotta pay attention to that. But yeah, everybody feel like they better than somebody. You
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
there's very little people who will find things that they are worse at and try to learn from that. You know.
Yeah. See, one of the things that God put in my mind at the beginning of the year was to be fruitful.
Mm,
And in order to be fruitful, you have to make partnerships and connections. And so in doing that, I always look at my flaws and shortcomings and I see other people's strengths. And then I see, how do your strengths mesh with my weaknesses? And can we form an alliance? Can we become a great team?
mm,
So that I read that in the book too. But
mm,
with you saying that, y- the only thing that made me change that was when I started learning about team and unity and harmony, and it's a biblical concept. I learned it from the Bible,
mm.
but the more you implement it into life, it's like it actually works. Like, the Bible calls us the body of Christ, but it essentially, if you take that concept out the Bible, it's talking about team. So
Do you feel like you see everything? Saying you see every flaw that you have.
no, 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 no. God reveals stuff.
Mm,
Or God opens my eyes so that I can see stuff. So it's like, no, I never see everything. But that's why my relationship with my guy is so important. And
yeah,
I tell him that I need him so much, because every man is right in his own eyes. That's what this is a principle in the Bible too. Um, every man is right in his own eyes. I can look in the mirror and say, I understand why I think this way. But my Jah is the true north. So if he's pointing me into what real right is, like this is really right, then I always have to measure myself against the right standard. And then, so I'll see something at this point, then I take two steps. And now, even though I corrected that, now the true north is saying, now this needs to be corrected. So I
mm,
really rely on my relationship with my job to really steer that. So I can't see everything, but as I walk, he reveals things that need to be corrected. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
What about you? Do you think you can see all of your flaws?
No, definitely not. I think that I think that I see a lot of them, but I don't see all of them. But I think that my thought process counteracts what I don't see, because I'm always thinking about, what I'm saying, the validity of my statements, the validity of my like motivations and stuff like that. I
Yes.
always question whether I'm right and what makes me more right than somebody else.
Right,
I
right, right,
always think about like stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel this way, but am I right for feeling this way?
right.
And even though I may not see, I don't think I see all my flaws for sure. It's definitely something that I have that I probably can't see, but I think that my thought process is a good one to have. Is a more productive one to have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I can get closer to finding out the mall by the way that I think.
Nicely put. Nicely put. I was gonna say something, but it just slipped my mind just that quick.
Dang, dang, my bad.
But no, 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 no. That I like the way you put that. I like the way you put that. You really, that is a very humble thing. You humble to know that there are things that you don't know, even when you learn something new. If
Yeah,
that makes sense, humble enough to know I learned something new, but I still have things to learn. Like that. That in and of itself,
yeah.
man, to just stay humble and to be humble in seeing yourself. That's deep, man. That's a deep thing. That's a
It's
deep
not
thing.
easy to do, man.
Not easy at all. Cause
Especially when you feel like you're right and you know what I'm saying, you strong in your rightness. You know
right,
what I'm saying? Like you have every reason to be right. It's hard to question the validity of that when you have all that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. I try to look for objective truth. I try to look for truths that are outside of me that I can point to. This is a fact right here. This is a fact. This is a measurable fact. And then if it's a measurable fact, no matter how I feel, this fact outweighs whatever I have on the inside. Everybody can look at this and say this is the same color. If you decide that this is a different color and the room says that this is that, you just tripping. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's another one of the things. I'm always looking for the objective truth. Like everybody can look at this and perceive this. Then I'm looking for people who know me or who are wise enough to be soundboards to say, bro, you tripping. I love you,
Mm.
but you tripping. You know what I'm saying? With love, and I don't get mad at that. I take that in, and I'm always evaluating. I'm always thinking. So that as a young man, that's almost a superpower, man.
It's not that crazy.
No, no, no. Because most young, I'm not gonna say most, but a lot of young people don't have a mentality to say I'm flawed to the extent that I need to be checking my mindset.
Yeah. I don't think it's even a young thing. I think it's a everybody thing. You know
Okay,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
people
yeah.
in general don't think like that. You know,
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
people in general don't think like that. But there are those who do. There
I
are
can agree
those.
with that.
There are those who thought that stuff like
Eons ago, right?
BC
Yeah,
times. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like yeah,
yeah. The
it's-
philosophers,
yeah.
Stoics. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, yeah. So you had some questions, you had some stuff you wanted to insert.
Man, I was gonna ask you earlier while you was talking, but you was talking about like your relationship with God, but I want to know the origin of that. I want to
Oh,
know I want to know how your relationship with God started. Like how did you come to a closeness with God? Like
oh,
how
okay.
how did
Look,
that
okay,
begin?
hold on. So look, I want to ask you that question because look,
See,
because
I
I
asked you first. I asked you first.
all right. Okay, so the origin of that, the origin of it, believe it or not, I've been in church my whole life. Grandfather, grandpa was the pastor.
Hmm.
Dad ended up being the pastor, but my encounter with God, um, my auntie, um, my auntie preached the gospel to me in such a way that it convicted my heart.
Mm,
And you know what's weird about that? When I grew up, I'm like, her philosophy ain't sound when it comes to my job. But she preached it to me in such a way that it wasn't over the pulpit, it wasn't in church, it was just straightforward. Do you know where you're gonna go when you die? She said something to that extent. You need to be thinking about this. If you was to die with all this craziness you got going on, you going to hell. And nobody had ever put it like we in church, right? But
hmm.
nobody never made it become real to me personally, like she did. When she said that, I I was like, man, I don't be thinking about that. But the fact that she brought it up made me start thinking about it.
Yeah.
So that started man, maybe I need to change my life.
Is that how you got? Is that how you started to become closer with God though? Like the relationship with Him?
No, that just kind of started to make me intrigued. Like that intrigued me about this being.
Mm,
And then I started to ask questions. I didn't start studying, but I started to ask questions. And then I started to have dreams. And man, I would be doing stuff and just I don't know, it started getting weird after that. It was like when I really acknowledged that God was there or God was actually like around my presence or, around me. He started like doing I started having these dreams, man, and now they make sense. But back then, I would have dreams like the old New Bethel, the
hmm.
old New Bethel, and Dad is up preaching, and then Dad's face just changed to mine.
For real?
Yes, when I would,
Dang.
I would have these like daydreams of me preaching, but it's Dad's voice, right? Like I would be standing in the pulpit preaching, but Dad's voice was coming out.
That's some deep stuff, man.
Bro, I would have these dreams,
Some
I would
deep
have these
stuff.
visions, and then I would it was like I would get these like strong thoughts like preach, 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 just this word preach, preach. And I'm like, why is this in my head? Like, but it all like I started getting curious about God, and then I started getting these weird dreams, and I really changed. I really changed. I changed, bro. And it got so strong to where I could see people gonna be watching this, they're gonna think I'm crazy. I could see shadowy figures on people's face. I would go up to people and know exactly what to pray for.
Mhm.
I would like, bro, it just got real weird, man. I got so it was like, I don't know. But when God bring you to a level, nobody prepared me for the attack of the devil to pull me back. And that's what happened. Like I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking, I stopped doing everything. Bro, I was taking olive oil, just clean my insides. Just Lord, all right, God, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Like completely pure. Man, just started seeking after him. And then right after that, nobody prepared me for these attacks. But yeah, that's just the origin of it. That's not when it actually became real, but that was just the origin. What about you, man? What about you?
Man, you gonna laugh at me. You gonna laugh at me, man. But my relationship with God started when I was very young, and it started because you already know what I'm finna say. It started because I was lonely, man. I was lonely, and I
Oh
was
wow.
yeah. It started because I was lonely. I used to like. I used to want a girlfriend, man. I used to want somebody who liked me at least because I was in a place where like nobody wanted me ever. Like
Wow.
nobody ever wanted me, bro. Nobody wanted me. Nobody liked me. But I started to pray to God about it. I was like, God, like I asked God to send me somebody. Ask in the like I wasn't getting no love, man.
Wow.
And I was hurt. Like I was going a real,
Depression.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Nobody knew.
How old were you?
10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And it didn't start like it didn't till I hit 8th grade. That was when things started to change. Eh, Before then, man, it was straight like darkness, bro. Yeah, it
Wow,
was
bro.
darkness. That nobody knew that, man. Nobody knew that. And if I were to speak on that to somebody like you and my mama, y'all would be like, "Oh, he's just a kid. He don't know what he talking about." So I was just like, man, they ain't gonna understand. You know what I'm saying? So
No, parent would kind of blow it off because we're thinking that you have this idea of what an emotion feels like, but you haven't, you're not, you know, you're not old enough to really understand what it is that you're thinking or
yeah,
feeling, but really you are. That's
man,
that's
I was
that's
sad,
that's
Dad.
crazy,
I was
man.
sad for years. Nobody knows years, bro. Years of my life, I was depressed because nobody loved me, bro. I felt like, I feel like I was never gonna find nobody who ever liked me,
That's
even in the slightest,
crazy.
bro. Yeah,
But okay, let me tell you what's crazy about that too. Like the summer that you came when you turned 12. So then I'm like teaching you to build yourself up, boost yourself up. Like I'm teaching that. It's like it kind of came at kind of like the perfect time in your life.
it changed years after that. I went to 6th grade after that summer. It didn't start changing until eighth
Eighth
grade.
grade. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
So
I
I was
mean,
still in a dark spot.
you was so after you left that summer, like you was still
Yeah,
at least you had something that like, okay, this is what I'm gonna put my energy into. Like
it
what did
didn't.
that do?
It didn't like my mind didn't shift like from black to white after
Right,
that
right, right,
summer,
right.
but there were things instilled in me that
Ah,
that
got you,
helped me
got you, got you.
build. I had like blueprints to
Got
go
you,
off
got you.
of. But
That is
but
so
yeah,
enlightening, man.
yeah, man. I was so yeah. That paints a picture, man. I was sad like for a while, and it got to
Wow.
the point where I approached God about it, and I asked God for love. I asked God to send me somebody who like what I'm saying, who just wants me and who would never leave me. And I would ask him, I would ask God. And this is how I realized that God was real.
You're
This is
right.
this is how I realized that God was real. So I would pray to God, man, and I would pray for love and I would pray for somebody. And I would ask God, like, why is it like this? You know what I'm saying? Like, this not normal, bro. Like I've never felt any kind of affection like anything like that. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right.
Everybody has somebody that likes them, but I've never had that. I've never had nobody like me. Why is it that I'm so alone in this world like this? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And he spoke to me, bro. He spoke to me, and I remember the day that he spoke to me. I was at a park, and I had walked off by myself because I wanted to talk to him. And I was at a park. I was sitting on a bench, and I was praying to God, and I asked him, and he told me. He said to me, "It's gonna be crazy." He said that you not getting nobody right now because this is the time that you're supposed to spend with me. You need to. This is the time that you're supposed to have with me because later on it's gonna be too much of it, and you need to have me in your life for those times.
How do you know that that was God at that time?
I didn't know that it was God at that time.
You just got a thought in your mind, or what?
Yeah,
You
like
just knew it without knowing
no,
it?
like he spoke to me and I took it, but I didn't think that it was him. Like
Mhm.
I didn't think that it was him speaking to me. I thought that it was just my thoughts.
Right,
And I didn't really pay no mind to it until years later when
right.
when things started to
Said
happen.
right, right,
You know
right,
what I'm
right, right.
saying?
Got you. Yeah, yeah.
And
That's how my job be
and
moving, man.
I thought back to it, I was like, man, he
That was him. Yeah.
yeah, that was the reason why. And you know what I'm saying? So like back then, before anything had happened, I would pray to him a lot. I would
Yeah,
pray to him a lot. And then I noticed that every now and then when I get to a low point, he would send me things that'll boost my mood. You know, he would send
man.
me things that'll boost my mood, and I'll be like, "Thank you, God. I appreciate
That's a
that."
word for me, bro. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what's up.
and then yeah, I got to the point where I asked him a lot. So I was talking to God a lot about that because the only person that I felt like I could talk to at the time.
Right, right, right.
He told me he was like, what I'm saying, all of the women, all the attention, all the affection that you want it's not for this time because this time is for me and you. And
Right.
then once you get to the point where you getting everything, you need me. You're gonna
Yeah,
need me
you go.
there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
yeah.
this is to build that foundation to where when you get to this place where you got stuff now, you know what I'm saying, you don't forget about me. Yeah.
Wow.
And that is how my relationship with God started. Because I
Wow.
wanted a girlfriend. Because I wanted a girlfriend, bro.
You know what though? Um, it's actually a story in the Bible, but and I'm not gonna go to it. But the thing is, he actually does that. He when and I don't know the criteria, so I can't say if you're this or if you're that. No, but sometimes the way that he works is he'll suspend your desire.
Mm,
Let me say it this way. He'll he'll not give you what you want to give you something that you need
yeah,
before he gives you what you want.
yeah.
And at the time that you don't get what you want, and a lot of people they walk away from God, or I get these questions all the time, like, why God don't hear my prayer? Why God don't hear my prayer? And it's not that he don't hear your prayer. It's just that if you going to God about it, God is like Kamari asking me for my car keys.
Mhm,
I want to drive. I'm gonna say like, bro, you need to get a little bit older.
mhm.
Then you need to take driving classes. Then I need to make sure that you can actually drive or get your permit or something.
Yeah,
So it's not like I'm not trying to give you what you want. It's just that there are prerequisites before you get it.
yeah,
And that's the same thing with is with my job. But man, that's my job like to the
yeah.
T.
That's
He,
how it started, man.
yeah, that's
That's how it
crazy.
started.
That's crazy.
That's how it started, man. And ever since then, bro, I've been so close with God. I've been so close with God. And to this day, there's only been one person that I've met that was my age that was as close with God as I was.
Wow.
Yeah.
The boy or girl.
Girl.
Oh yeah, I know. I
Yeah, I
think I
know
know what you're
you do know.
talking about.
It's the only person in this world who I've ever talked to that describes their relationship as God, even remotely close to mine. Yeah.
Wow.
I've been very close with God ever since then. But yeah, it started like that, man.
Wow.
Started like that.
Yo, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy when you like when you go like live a little bit, you get a little bit older, and you look back on certain things, you're like, dang, that was God actually like looking out for me or talking to me or putting this thought in my head. And at the time you didn't even see it like that. You know what I mean? That's crazy. That'd be crazy to me, man. That'd be so crazy to me.
You
Like
know what, bro? You know what's funny? After he told me like what he told me, I was like, ain't no way. Like
You couldn't see it at the
ain't no
time.
way, bro. Like he was like he told me like you gonna get to a point where you gonna have like it's gonna get to a point where you have an abundance and you gonna get distracted. He said it was like that. It was basically like you gonna get to a point where like you have nobody but me right now.
Right.
You gonna get to the point where you have everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
And don't
you
forget
gonna
about me.
lose me. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
And at the time I was like, man, ain't no way, bro.
Bruh,
Ain't no way, bro. Like,
bruh,
ain't no way. Look at me now. It's crazy.
bruh. I promise you, I
Bro, I
promise you.
was like, ain't no. I didn't even want to like.
I
I didn't
get
even
it.
consider it, bro. I
Yeah,
didn't consider it because it was so.
bro,
It's crazy. Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
So
Yeah.
ain't no way.
And then as time go on, you see like, man, it just kind of unfolded.
The exact thing that he said, man.
Bro, I used to do this on bass. Like I used to listen to these bass players and man, like, man, how did he do that? Man, how is he so cold? And I just kept practicing. And I had a mentor, thank God. And then I did my own personal practice. And man, I hear the stuff that I do now on bass. Well, it's kind of past now, but man, that I would ever own a 6 string bass, that I would ever own two when I was first learning how to play on that 4 string, I would have never thought. I would have never, man, I would have never thought. I would have never
Mhm.
guessed it. But yeah, just like that, my job does things just like that. You never would have guessed. And if you would have thought of you like, bro, it ain't gonna be like that.
Yeah,
Like it ain't gonna be
yeah.
like that. But you know what though? This real though. That's confirmation to me because like for right now, my job been telling me some stuff about the future.
Mm,
And in my frustration, I'm praying in my right now, and it's just like it's kind of like confirmation to like stay the course and stay on track because you never know you
yeah,
know what that next chapter gonna bring.
yeah.
See, that's good, bro. That's
So I
heavy,
started,
man.
man.
That's
Yeah,
heavy.
yeah, man.
That's heavy. All right, before we go, we got a little bit more time. We got a little bit more time, but we gonna cut it. But I got one more question that I wanna. All right, what is something? Now, this is back to the fatherhood thing.
All right.
What is something that is important for let me ask it this way since we on the spiritual thing. How important is it for um the father figure or the male person in the child's life to introduce the whole spiritual aspect? How important is it in your opinion?
I think it's
Is it
just.
important? How important?
I think it's just as important as like. It's just as important as anything else, man.
And why?
Because it's something that can learning about God and about who God is. It's something that can drastically change your life, man. Like it's something that can drastically alter like what kind of person you can become. You know, like if somebody could be taught nothing but be taught God and still be led in right directions, man. But
Yeah.
somebody could be taught everything and not have God and you know what I'm saying, be so far off. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Somebody could be left with, people could be left with, you know what I'm saying, wealth. They could be left with, I don't know, fun memories, but no God. They have the things that their parents brought down to them, but without God, without God being there, is 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 automatically at a disadvantage. You know what I'm saying? You're
Wow.
automatically at a disadvantage. But teaching somebody about God, teaching a kid about God, you know what I'm saying, is better because a kid can grow to learn God. Like
Yeah.
kid can learn God as they grow, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? And it
Yeah.
can start at a young age. A lot of people don't find God till later on in life, but learning about it young is better to have that history. I
Yeah.
think it's very important.
Cause I be running into people that they say um they basically wanna run with the devil until they get tired of doing all of the craziness and then they come to God, after they done had fun in the streets, after they done party, after
Mm,
they done basically like did all the sex and craziness that they want to do. In your opinion, is it more beneficial to do it that way and then come to God, or is it more beneficial to do it God's way? Now, of course, I'm asking you at 22 years old, but I mean, in your opinion,
I think it's more beneficial to do it the. I think it's more beneficial to introduce a child to God.
and
You know,
why though? Why would you say that?
it's difficult to explain. It's difficult to explain. It's like I can think of it, but to explain it is different. So somebody living their life, you know what I'm saying, crazily and then coming to God later on. You still coming to God and you are still saved by the rules of the Bible. Like you will be no better or worse than, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
any other person who is saved.
That's good that you
But
said
but I think that having the relationship with God, like, or at least having the blueprint to start a relationship with God at a young age, there are a lot of things that can be changed about a life or someone else's life.
that.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
God can lead people to do certain things, and they might not even know that it's God at the time, but God can lead people to do certain things just based off the strength of, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
the relationship. You pray, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
just based off the strength of that.
I gotta say, like, that's actually it. Like, that's what I would say. I would say, you're sold these things when you're young. Party, have a lot of sex, drink as much as you want, smoke, have fun, and then turn your life over. But the thing is like, I did that to an extent, and then I only formed habits that were hard to break, as opposed to actually like aligning myself with things like I try to teach or tell people, like, one of the benefits of having God in your life from a young age is that He guides you.
Yeah,
Like
you
He
got you.
leads you into things that like the job that I have now. I probably wouldn't even been in this field had it not been for like one night I was praying and I just got this epiphany. How about you apply for this job? You went to school, you learned this. Let's make a resume. Put this on the resume. You know how to do it. Then when you get there, we gonna see what they say. But why not do a job like that? And then I get there
Hmm.
and I love the job. They were paying me nothing, but I loved the job. But I would have never got that thought had I not really just had God in my life. And then
Yeah,
it's not just that; it's the layers that come after that. So He get me that job. Everything about that job led to the next job, and they paid more money, and I had more experience. Everything about this job, when I got laid off, led to the next job, and I had more experience, and I got paid more money. That job led to the next. It was just like, bro, it was crazy. And that's the thing. Like that's what I be telling. It's not that I'm trying to sound religious it's not that. The
yeah,
people in Genesis, these people, they wasn't going to church, but like God really like led their life. I'm not just not to convert nobody or nothing, but I'm
mhm,
just saying, like, bro, to have God in your life from a young age, He actually guides and steers your
yeah,
life in the ways and the direction that's just good for you. Stuff that you wouldn't even recognize. Then you get 50 and you come to God after your body is broke up, and it's like, man, if I'd have done this 20 years ago, I'd have been. Hey, hey,
it's yeah, that is a factor. I think one thing that people don't talk about is that coming to God scares a lot of people who don't know like anything about God or Christianity at all. It scares people because it make
why?
them feel like they gotta be a square. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
it make them feel like they gotta, give up everything they like and just become a nun or become like a priest or something to have a relationship with God. It scares a lot of people, especially young people.
Yeah, well, you know what? This is why. Well, this is another reason why I started doing podcasts, because I really love my job. I'm regular though,
I'm
and
regular too.
bro, I get this probably another episode, bro. But like, look, sometimes I get so annoyed with the whole church craze because it's fake. And I'm not saying every church is fake. I'm not saying every church experience is gonna be whack or fake. That's not what I'm saying. You church is good when Christians come together, assemble in one place. God really hears the prayers of his people, and
Mhm.
all of this is good, but it just has become such a like a theater, like a concert. And of course we gonna praise and worship together, but it's just fake. It's like we teach concepts that are not biblical. We teach self-help principles instead of biblical principles.
Yeah.
It's like people teach their preference as opposed to what the Bible actually teaches, and then stamp God on their preference. And it misleads a lot of people. And then the people who are misled is so many of them that the real ones, the real leaders, the real people, we get the bad stamp,
Mhm.
and it's just I don't know. It just I've grown very I love the church, I love God, but sometimes and whenever I go to a church, I'm always looking and I'm listening. Is this the real one? Like is this the real one? Because if it's not, I'm finna go. I have no time for the theatrics, man. But sometimes the music jams. Sometimes
Yeah.
it be real. Sometimes the like God really be like in there amongst the
Yeah.
people. So I can feel that. But if it's just I don't know. What do you think about church now, man?
Man,
I'm watching
church,
the time by the
church
way.
scares people too. Like you said, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people in church cause problems, man. A lot of people in church make church a place that people don't want to come to. A lot of people don't go to church because they don't want to be judged by people in church. You
Oh,
know what I'm
that's
saying?
real.
I know a lot of people discredit God because of some of the church people that they've met. You know,
You
it's
supposed to represent God, but like you
yeah,
more of a devil than yeah.
yeah. But at the same time, it's like I said before, it goes back into like people and how they work. You know, people are always flawed. The way that somebody thinks and the way that somebody perceives can change a lot. You know,
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
can change a lot. The flaws that people have, some people might feel like they better than others,
Yeah.
and it might cause them to look down on it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That kind of arrogance is a flaw. Some people might not know. I think it goes back to the reason why that is because people are flawed.
That's deep, man. That's deep. That's real deep. Well, I mean, look, that concludes another episode, man. That was a really good conversation, bro.
It
Like
was,
that, man. That was a
man.
good
It
conversation,
was.
bro. Real good conversation. Look, for those of y'all that are watching, man, thank y'all for watching. We got way more episodes coming after this. Like I was gonna just started doing it like maybe once every other week, but the conversation's so good, we got to keep it rolling. So, man, thank y'all so much for watching. One way that you can support this video is just by liking it. And if you like these videos, go ahead and subscribe. I mean, why not? That's one way that you can support, and it don't cost you no money. You just support. But this channel, this particular podcast this channel was created to help people. This particular podcast was created to help the fathers out there, the sons out there, the men who have kids, the kids who have fathers that may be absent or whatever. It's just helping to spark the conversation, man. One of the things that's real near and dear to me is my children, and the greatest sacrifices that I could have ever made was just being in their life, making the sacrifices just to be there. I couldn't do everything that I wanted to do. I couldn't be at everything, but I did the best that I could, and so I kind of want to speak out to the other fathers that are out there, man. Like your kids are worth it. Just try. So I got my son here, man, just to chop it up. So you got any last words?
Ah, go play my songs.
Oh, yeah. Look, go support my son's music. Go support my son's music. Hit the link tree. I'm gonna put the link in the description box underneath the video so y'all can go like my boy's music, subscribe to his channel. Let me tell you this. I'm getting married. I am, and I'm gonna use some of his music on my honeymoon. That's just it's like that.
It's
It's
like that, man.
it's real chill music. It's
Yeah.
vibe music. It's like you can put like couple songs on repeat and it'll just give you a vibe. And I'm not saying that just because he's my son either. If it was bad, I wouldn't tell you to go listen to it. I
Mhm.
love you, but I would tell you if you
I
put
know. I
out
know.
but it's it's a vibe. It's a true vibe. It's a true
Man,
vibe. So man,
it's a
that,
vibe, and then there's also material in there. There are topics in some of my songs, and I hide details in there. You know what I'm saying, for people who listen for real.
what do you call them? The Easter
Yeah,
eggs.
Easter eggs.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, I
okay,
be putting
okay.
Easter eggs in my songs, man. Hey, if you can find an Easter egg in one of my songs, DM me, and if you get it correct, I give you $10.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, so go and check out my boy music. You guys subscribe to the channel. I hope I hope you enjoyed the conversation, man. I'll see y'all next time.